Welcome to the In Between podcast, where we are exploring what it means to find joy and contentment in the in-between seasons of life. Each week we share stories, we laugh, we visit with friends, and we learn how to better live right where we are. This week, join hosts and sisters Paige Allen and Leslie Rich as they unpack the heart and the vision behind the in-between movement and how you can join the journey. Because no matter what season of life you may find yourself in, we're all in this together.
Okay, can you believe we're doing this?
No, I can't. This is fun.
Well, I just want to say hi, everyone. Welcome to the In Between podcast. So this is our very first episode, and I want to tell you a little bit about how it got started. I went to this conference back in the summer and met with some amazing women that are wanting to do great things in their world. And in one of my conversations, I was talking to this lady about just kind of the thoughts I had going on in my head and the messages in my heart that I wanted to share. And she just kind of threw it out there that, you know what, you should start a podcast. And so I came home from that conference and had lots of ideas thrown my way, but what kept coming to my mind was this whole idea of a podcast. And I'm just going to be honest, and Leslie can tell you this is the truth. It would be really boring if it was just me here talking all the time. I don't think anybody would watch. And so as I was thinking about it and praying about it, I thought, hey, like, who's one of the funnest people I know? That's my sister, Leslie. She's super funny and creative and talented. And also she understands technology. So that's a big thumbs up. So I called her up, and I also thought, what better way for us to connect now that she lives all the way in Nashville than for us to be forced to talk every single on a podcast. So that's how this whole thing got started. Yeah.
Awesome. So when Paige called me, she's like, I want to do this podcast, and I think you should pray about doing it with me. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And so, but it just sounded super exciting to me right from the beginning. But the way my brain works, like, I'm a theme person. So I was like, what's the theme? We have to have a theme to go on. And so we kind of tossed around a lot of different ideas, but we really wanted to obviously kind of direct it towards women. And we are women, and we are surrounded by a lot of women in a lot of different ways. And I think the one thing that we both could really agree on is that women are so in different seasons of life, and we kind of get into that season and are just like, I'm just so knee deep into motherhood, or so knee deep into college, or just so like up to my eyeballs in my career or whatever it is. But a lot of times we're always kind of looking to the future. Like, okay, if I can just graduate, then my life can really start. Or if I can just get married, then things will really start happening. Or if I can just get these kids into school, then life will look a lot different. But, we didn't want to always be looking and thinking about the what's next and what's coming in the future. And so we said, we kind of want to reach women where they're at, like the in-between seasons, and in between where we are now and maybe where we want to be, but how, like, God is still working and doing things here in whatever season of life we're in. And so I'm excited because we're going to be interviewing lots of women and lots of different people from all walks of life, and just with stories completely different from ours, so we'll get to hear their perspective. So I'm excited about that, and we're just going to kind of let people share their stories and hopefully kind of connect with our listeners and our viewers as well. So so we decided to call it the In-Between, because we're all in between some seasons of life, but just being okay with where you're at and embracing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. It's kind of debunking that whole myth that the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes, absolutely.
And but we also want it to be really fun. I want to say thank you for coming along and at least giving our first episode a try. And I think one thing that we're going to do every single week is a segment that we're going to call Into It and Over It. Because I know for myself personally, there's some blogs that I listen to. And I don't know if you're like this, Leslie, but I always like to hear like the tips that they're giving, what are they really liking? So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start every week off with that.
Okay.
So just going to jump right in.
Yes.
And let's do our into it. Okay.
Yes. I want to know, what are you into?
Okay. So here's what I'm into. And I actually brought it so I could show you. So I've just found this new dry shampoo. It's not shattering, but it kind of is. Yeah. And it's called Batiste. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Batiste. Because let's just be honest. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I don't got the time to wash my hair every day.
No.
And I've tried a lot of dry shampoos, and some of them are just like kind of gross or kind of chalky, Yes. Now I will say I have blonde hair. You have dark hair.
Let me just tell you, I've tried so many dry shampoos. I'm not giving up hope. Like, I'm still kind of on the hunt. So I'll try the Batiste. Where did you purchase?
I got it at Target. It's on the side where it's like kind of the fancier hair products. You know what I mean? But it wasn't super pricey. So this is what I'm into. I think I'm like, well, my hair doesn't look great today, but I'm like on a good, like 3-day out from washing. So I did that on purpose for all of you, so you can see that. Well, my roots are bad, but it's looking okay.
Looks good. Yes.
That's what I'm into.
Okay.
What about you? What are you into?
I was trying to think of what I was going to share. And I had to say this one because I talk about it like every day. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to sound like I'm in my 70s. But I'm so into soup right now. Soups of all kinds. Like, I don't know if it's because it's the fall and it's like cooling off in the weather, but I am so passionate about soup right now. Like, everywhere we go to eat, I just want the soup. I know that's weird. There's this little, like, we live in this small town outside of Nashville, and there's this little place called Nana's Diner. Mm-hmm. And it's like small town diner, and this sweet little lady runs it, and it's like our favorite place. But she's like, now y'all need to come back in October because that's when I start the soups. And I was like, you have no idea. I'm so excited because I've been all about soups for 2 weeks. So anyway, I'm really into soup, all kinds of soup. And yeah, I'm making chili soon because I love it. So
do you have like a go-to, or maybe do you have a recipe you can share on the blog this week, you think?
I could totally share the chili recipe. It's super easy. It's actually our dad's recipe, and it's good. So I'm actually going to kind of tweak it because we're trying to eat healthier and like not a lot of red meat. So I'm going to try it with turkey, but I think it'll be just as good. So yeah, I'll totally share it. That'd be great. So yeah.
Today, our launch day is actually our dad's birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday to our dad.
I don't know if he'll watch this, but he probably will because he thinks we're cool.
He will. He loves us.
Okay. So soup. You do sound a little bit like a 7-year-old woman, but you
know. It's so, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Excited about soup.
So, what are you over? Are you over anything right now?
Yes. And this is like totally random, and I didn't know if I was going to share it because it feels like a little bit deep, and I don't want to be like super deep, but I decided like I am so over feeling not good enough. I think we just I struggle. I'm sure everybody struggles, but like feeling like I really failed, I really messed up. Me and one of my daughters, I have 3 daughters. See, surrounded by women. So my middle daughter she just turned 10, and she is so much fun and like a ball of energy, and she's a blast. But lately she's been like, we're like fully embracing the preteens, I'm afraid. And she's like really going for it with her attitude and kind of being difficult. And so I'm like, man, I feel like I've messed up as her mom. I could have done so many things differently. And, but I can't go back to when she was 2, and I can't go back to, raising her. And it's like, all I can do is start where we're at. And I know this is like one example, but I think we all kind of feel that way sometimes. Like, I'm just not enough, or I just don't do enough, or I've failed, or whatever. And I'm just kind of like letting myself off the hook a little bit and saying, I'm over it. I'm over being down on myself and feeling like I'm not good enough, whether that's parenting or in your career or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm over it. And I think everybody else should be too, because it's just not worth it. Just move on.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe we should all embrace that over it.
Over it. Yeah.
I am. I'm over it too.
Yeah.
Well, mine is not really deep at all.
Good.
I'm feeling like maybe it should be, but I'm over mosquitoes. We
don't have them bad here.
You don't have them in Nashville?
Well, I mean, like a few, but not like Texas.
The little bloodsuckers need to die. I think it might be, we have a lake near us. And so I know that's like their breeding ground, but literally this summer, like we would go outside on our porch and like the overhang, the covering, it would be solid mosquitoes. And the weather's beautiful right now, but I feel like I'm not embracing it as much as I would want to, just because the mosquitoes are really bad. So I feel like it's starting to get cooler. So hopefully they're going to all die. Because I'm over it, totally over it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mosquitoes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I think that'll be fun every week. Mm-hmm. So I'll try to come with something better than soup next time. But
no, I like it. I mean, I had dry shampoo. So
that's what I'm thinking about. So got soup on the brain. So I think definitely need to get your input on what you're reading right now, because I love to read. I really do, but I'm not like as big of a reader as you are. You've always been way more of a reader, and you always have really good book recommendations. So share with us what you're reading.
Okay, I will. I really like to read. You're right. And I'm the kind of person, I don't read one book at a time. I'm usually reading 3 to 5. So I'm actually, there's 3 books that I'm currently reading right now. And I brought 2 of them to show you. So to be spiritual, I'm on my last chapter of this book, and I know this was like your favorite book this year.
Yes.
Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Peter Scazzaro. And it's so good. It's just a great book. I mean, the whole concept is, until we learn to deal with our emotions and get mature those, we can't really grow in our spirituality. Like, we're going to keep going around the same mountains over and over. But I like this book that it doesn't just say that like 12 times. It actually starts to give you practical ways to really focus on growing healthy emotionally, So, yeah.
I discovered that book. My husband and I went to like this retreat, really just like intense marriage counseling kind of retreat, last about a year and a half ago now. And they told us about that book there, and I read it. You should see my copy. Like, every page is highlighted and underlined and like stars and notes in the margin. I don't know, something about that book. Yeah. I feel like it changed my life in a way. And so, yes, I can second that recommendation. It is an awesome book.
Okay, 2 other things I'll share real fast. One is, if you're looking for a good fiction read, I'm reading The Silver Star right now by Jeanette Walls. She's most famous for a book called The Glass Castle, which if you've never read it, you need to read it. It's fascinating. It's a little bit disturbing, but it's like true life. So this is more of a fiction book. I'm about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm recommending it. And then I'm also reading, it's on my Kindle, so I don't have it. I'm reading a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And it's more about like creativity. So I'm just going to show this one quick thought that is just really messing with me, but I think there's some truth to it. So she was just talking about how like ideas, and she's not like on the same page I am like faith-wise, but I think that there's a real truth to this, that there's these like ideas in our atmosphere. I would say like God has like there's certain things that are happening in the earth at certain times. Yeah. And you can see it sometimes, you've probably seen it in worship, where similar songs will come out at the same time from 2 totally different parts of the world, but with the same message, because like that's something that God's doing right then. And so kind of is saying, you know what, if God gives you a creative idea, you need to run with it, or it might move on from you, And she kind of gives some personal examples of her own life, like wanting to write a story and working on it, but then just getting sidetracked and coming back to the story and it was gone. But then like a few months later, meeting someone who basically has that same concept they're writing. So it's just messing with me a little bit. It's encouraging me creatively that I'm responsible for the ideas that God gives me, And if I don't do something with them, if I'm not disciplined with them, if it's an idea he wants out, he's going to get it out through another avenue. So those are my 3 book recommendations. Yeah.
And what was that last one called?
It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And we'll put it in the show notes so y'all can go find out about all those books. So
yay, fun.
I'm the book girl, but you are the music girl. Yeah. So tell me, what are you listening to? Like, what do people need to know about?
Okay. I really tried to come up with something like new, and now that I live in Music City, like I thought, okay, I'm really gonna like find something amazing and new. And also I have a 16-year-old daughter who is like, music is her life. Like, she's constantly listening and finding new stuff. It's funny because she'll play stuff for me and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. And she's like, I found it on SoundCloud. And then it'll be on the radio like 6 to 9 months later. Like, she's kind of like, I don't know, like cutting edge like that. She kind of loves to do stuff like that. So anyway, I was like, I've been asking her for some things, but it's just like, I can't really quite get into all of the weird EDM kind of like stuff that 16-year-olds are listening to.
Yes.
So I have to go back to, I mean, and this isn't like anybody new, but I find myself listening to it all the time, is Johnny Swim. I don't know if you're a Johnny Swim fan. Like, they have an album coming out, and they've slowly like released a couple of songs. They did a cover of Wicked Games. If you know Chris Isaac's song Wicked Games, it's like always been one of my favorites. Anyway, so they've kind of pre-released, I think, 4 songs now on their album. There's one called Summertime Romance that came out in the summer, and it was just a great feel-good song, and like, I just love it. So anyway, Johnny Swim, I love their old stuff. I love their new stuff. I can just turn it on and listen to them all day long. And we bought tickets because they're coming to Nashville in November, so I'm super excited. But yes, I'm like a Johnny Swim fan till the day I die. Love them. If you haven't heard them, check them out. It's husband and wife, and they're just incredible. So anyway, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. That's a very good recommendation.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that we want to do here on the podcast is just kind of like dig into our guests' lives a little bit and their stories. And so we're going to do that with each other. And so I get to interview you a little bit, which is fun. So 2 questions, because I think that we're all in these places in our life, and it's cool to hear from other people. So the first question is, what does busy look like for you? And then to follow that up, what does rest look like for you in your world right now?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. You know, I feel like everyone, maybe not everyone, but most people are busy. Like, if you just look at your schedule, you know, life can be busy, whether you're working or you're at home. Like, there are a lot of demands on life. And so for me, honestly, what I've kind of come to, the way I can finally like verbalize it, is I feel busy when my motivation for what I'm doing is off-centered. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like in the last 3 years, I've kind of gone through a season. I've been in this in-between of kind of God revealing to me that for so much of my life, my motivation was like trying to prove myself. It goes back to being over, not enough, you know, like, and so when all of my activities flow from that place of trying to prove myself or trying to be the best at something or overcommitting myself, which is from that root issue of, I don't believe I'm enough. I believe that people aren't, you know, accepting of who I am. And so I'm going to show them, look, I'm good. I'm enough. Yeah. That for me is when I feel most busy. I don't know or when I feel like I'm about to be at my end, so to speak. Because honestly, the month of October is the busiest month for me of the year. My job as a missions pastor, we announce all of our mission trips in October. So right now, work-wise, it's just a lot. You know, there's a lot on my plate. We're starting a podcast and all the things that go with that.
Throw that in there with your crazy schedule.
Throw it in there. Throw in my 6-year-old and 4-year-old. And so I'm busy right now. But somehow, I'm not like perfect at this at all. But what I'm discovering is if if every morning I kind of wake up and I'm connected with the Lord and I remind myself that I'm going to do all of this from a place of love and from a place of like, that sounds so like cliche from a place, but just from like a place of like, this is who I am. This is what I'm called to do. And I'm enough. I'm going to work hard today, but I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to try to prove anything through my work. I'm just going to do it to the best of my ability. And if something doesn't get done, I'm going to go to bed tonight and start over in the morning. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what busy looks like. I mean, it's a busy schedule, but right now it's okay because of the motivation, I think.
Yeah.
Rest for me, at my heart, I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've learned how to do life extrovertly, so to speak, probably because I'm married to the most extroverted man on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And I am, yes. So when I do get like overwhelmed, and I'll be honest, like last week, Josh was out of town, then Sayla got the stomach bug. It's super busy at work. And so when Josh came back in town, then he got sick for like 3 days. So the last day of his sickness, I was kind of like, I'm sorry you feel horrible, but like I need you to get better because I need a break. Like, I don't know if anyone else has those same like honest conversations. Like, suck it up, buddy, because like I've been like on my own for the last 8 days with these children. And thankfully he was so great. Like he still had a couple days to get better. But once he was feeling better, this last weekend, he took my kids to the fair by himself. Like he's a saint. All because like the only way I can really rest is I have to be by myself. I think you're kind of like that too. Like,
oh yeah.
And so during that time frame, I think I watched a show and I read a little bit of the novel I'm reading and I went outside for a walk and like in 2 hours, I wasn't perfect, but I felt so much better. Yes. So yeah. So that's what rest and busyness.
I can totally relate. Yeah. I'm also an introvert and just, I have to have that alone time. It's funny. Like my husband, Alan, he knows. And he'll say, do you need to go introvert for a while? Which usually means like going and taking a bath for like an hour and just don't bother me for like, just give me that time. And then I'm so much better. I come back refreshed and yeah. So for sure I get that.
Yeah. It's so important. And, probably I know that we've talked about this personally, but even just the whole concept of a Sabbath, which is that like, if I will be disciplined to like find a day or half a day or something every week where I just totally like unplug my mind from all the demands, I find myself rejuvenated. So, and that's a hard thing. It's really hard to do that.
It is hard. But one thing that I learned about Sabbath, kind of as the Lord was teaching me and through other people, because I've always thought Sabbath was just like that. And it is just like complete rest, not doing anything and just kind of whatever. But one thing that I learned about Sabbath is that it's doing what refills you.
Right.
It's not necessarily sitting on your couch for hours on end. Like if that stresses you out, you're not resting. And that like what like brings your heart peace? What refills you and refuels you? Like the people that kind of share that with me and taught me that, like their thing was gardening. And I mean, I know that seems kind of crazy, but to me that would be not a restful, peaceful thing, but they loved it. And it was like that day that they had set aside was all about, let's get in the garden and work and use our hands. And for me, cooking is like a thing that it feels like Sabbath to me. I know that sounds weird, but it's such a stress relief. So it doesn't necessarily mean like sitting and doing nothing, but it's just what helps you rest and release stress and feel at your best and feel calm and at ease. So I think that's good to know about Sabbath, that it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. So you've just moved across the country from Lubbock to Nashville. So tell me a little bit about the season you're in right now. What is it looking like for you?
Okay. So the season I'm in is is so different than anything I've ever been in. It is so not busy. It's almost funny. Like my calendar, I've always been a big calendar person, but like my calendar is just so completely open. It's so 100% like just a blank canvas at times. In the beginning, it was kind of stressing me out because I'd come from such a, always coming through these seasons of so much to do. I mean, sometimes every minute of the day planned out, and I'm a planner and I like to write things down. I'm a list maker and I like to check off the list, and there's not a lot on my list right now. But I really am enjoying that, and it's making me realize, because it's starting to fill up, just kids being in school and, church here and meeting people. And like, I'm realizing how quickly it can and it could fill up. Mm-hmm. And so it's made me really aware of my time and how I choose to spend it and how I want to spend it, and what a gift it is that my calendar is completely 100% dictated by me and not by all these things that I find myself having said yes to. Does that make sense? Like sometimes we say yes to things and then we're in it and then they all hit at once and you're like, well, I said yes, I can't. Right. So I'm in this place where I kind of get to choose everything, and we all have a choice, obviously, but it's so blank and open right now that I'm being really intentional about, okay, is that something I need to say yes to? Is that something that I want to fill up my time with? Because I really love having this time and being in this season that we're in. So when we moved here, we kind of were like, what are we doing with our lives? What are we, we moved, we made this 1,000-mile move. What are we doing? And we kind of just said, okay, let's give ourselves 2 months to get settled, get the house in order, get boxes unpacked, buy furniture that we need, decorate, do all that stuff to feel like this is our home and we are settled and at peace here. Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of coming towards the end of that 2 months. But I think where we both feel like we're really at right now is, excuse me, I think we came with the intention of we need to like dive into the music scene and the music business scene and like figure out exactly how everything's done and exactly how people do this and how does the songwriting work and how does the publishing work, how does this work, how does that work. And I think God's really done a work in our hearts to just say, you know what, I have a specific plan for you guys, and I know exactly why I called you here and exactly what I have for you in Nashville. And so our original plan of dive in, figure it all out, has really changed into just dive into the Lord and we keep using the word blueprint, but like get his blueprint for what he called us to do here. Because if we try to copy what someone else has done or just try to do, what seems like works for everybody else, I don't think we're going to be as successful at that. Right. So that's kind of where we're at. That's our season of like, just being really intentional with our time and how we are spending our time, because we feel like something great is coming. We're not really sure what that is, but we're just seeking the Lord. Like, okay, God, what's next? What do you have? What's next on the list? What do you want us to do? And so that's where we're at.
That's so good.
It's a good feeling. Yeah.
It makes me think of, I actually just the other day I read this quick quote by Eugene Peterson, and he was talking about busyness, and that busyness either comes from, like I was talking about, from a wrong motive to prove yourself, or it comes from laziness and letting other people put expectations on you.
Ooh, that's good.
Other people are filling your calendar. Mm-hmm. So I love what you said that about like you're guarding like this gift of time, mm-hmm. really thinking about how does God want me to spend this time? I just think if we all looked at our calendars that way, our lives might look totally different, Yeah. So cool. Yeah. Anything you would change about this season?
The only thing, and I'm working on this, it's not that like I'm not being proactive about it, but I really, I'm looking forward to more friendships. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit lonely to move 1,000 miles away from your home and your family and all the people you're close to. And, but we have just kind of like dove headfirst into our church and into a connect group there, and we've met some amazing people. And I'm not a great initiator. I never have been. And so we're working at that. We're like, let's invite these people to dinner. Let's, try this. Let's just go. I mean, literally the first week we were here, they announced these like connect small groups in people's houses. I was like, we're going. Let's just go. This is how we have to meet people.
Good.
So, I look forward to the day when I have somebody to call to go get coffee, or, have a friend to meet for lunch, because right now I'm like, get a lot of introverting in. So like I could be a little more social. I kind of miss that, but I'm working on it. So
that's good.
It's a good balance. We're getting there. So yeah. Okay. So one other thing we wanted to do, probably each week, and then with our guests as well, is share our favorite photo that we've taken of the week. It does not have to be Instagram worthy or beautiful in any way, but just kind of showing the in-between moments of life. Mm-hmm. So my photo, I'm going to start. I don't know if you can see this. So one day, the glare.
Yeah.
So this is my daughter, Ava.
Mm-hmm.
She was sick one day.
Oh.
Had a little tummy ache. And this is the one, she just does not slow down. Like, she just wants to go all the time. And so I got this photo of her. She came and crawled in my bed and was watching cartoons and noticed the trash can in case of barf on the bottom. And then the dog in my bed, which is not like my favorite thing at all, but he was comforting her and she was like sad. And it was one of those days I had a lot of things planned, and then those all go out the window because your kid's homesick and my husband was out of town. Right. So there's my sweet little Abe's, and we'll post this so everybody can see a little better, but it did not make Instagram for various reasons. But so that was my favorite because it was just a sweet moment that she was like chill, and although she was sick, which is sad, but she just looks so cute, all snuggled in my bed with her little barf trash can. So that's my favorite photo of the week. What about you?
Okay, so mine is, I posted on Instagram, not this picture, but one similar to it. I don't know if you can see it here. So on, what night was it? I want to say Sunday night. Or was it Saturday night? I think Sunday night, yeah. I kind of had this realization that on the Jewish calendar, it's a celebration called Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. And my husband, when I married into his family, they celebrate all the Jewish feasts and holidays. And I have to be honest, like when I first married into them, I was like, wow, okay, great.
Wow, this is neat.
This is weird. I'll just be honest. It's like, this is so weird. But I'm trying to embrace his family. And over the years, I just have slowly learned to just really see the beauty in it, and especially in a few certain ones of them. And so this one celebrates the Jewish New Year. And the whole thought is that starting with Adam, when he was first created, that's when God started his calendar. And so I'm not going to say it right, but basically it's year 5057, I don't know, something. I'll write it in the show notes. And so what they do on the Jewish New Year is they do two activities. One is they go to a body of water and you throw rocks into the lake to represent all of the past stuff from the previous year that was yuck, so sin or mistakes or regret. And it goes to the bottom of the lake so you don't remember it anymore. And then after that, they eat honey, apples dipped in honey, just to remind themselves of the sweetness of what's coming ahead. And I just like that. And my kids are at the age where they think doing stuff like that is fun. So my mother-in-law, Marcy, came over and we went out to our little lake. And sure enough, like as we're gathering rocks, we have like 5 neighborhood kids come up. And so it was kind of that awkward moment of like, oh, we're doing some weird Jewish holiday thing. And now there are other people here. But what's so great about kids is like, they're like, what are you doing? Like, these rocks represent sin and we're throwing them. Do y'all want to do it with us? And they were like, yeah. So it ended up being really cool. And the thing is honestly, like the kids, we know their story and they've had a year. Like they've had a rough year. And so just even as we were out there, for me, God was just like this was part of my plan, like these kids need to say this last year is in the past and the future is good. And so we threw rocks. We ate our honey. We dipped them in peanut butter. Some of them didn't like honey, or not peanut butter. So I had to get peanut butter out, dip the apples in there as well. So that's my favorite one. And there was a gorgeous sunset too. So it was just a cool moment that kind of happened spontaneously. So that's my favorite.
Love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to post those. So do you want to tell everybody where we posted, how they can connect? Because this is what this is all about, is connecting.
Exactly. So our heart is that this is like a community, and it's a place for you to share your own in-between moments. And so this is our launch day, and everything is launching today. Our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, it's all launching. So the first place we want you to go is to our website. It's called theinbetween.com. And in between is in-between, because that's actually how you spell in between. Yeah. We discovered. We actually weren't sure when we started it, and we looked it up. So it's in-between.com. If you go there, if you go to the blog, you can read our show notes. Everything that we talk about today, it'll be there. So if you want to get my awesome dry shampoo, you can get a link. If you want to discover how you can hear Johnny swim, that'll all be there. So
chili, there will be chili recipe.
And
yes, I'll put it on there.
I mean, of course, you need to go. You need to go and to our website. But then also, go check out our Facebook page. It is called The In-Between Podcast. Or if you can't find it, go to our website, and there's a link right there on there to go to our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. So be sure and do that. Also, follow us on Instagram. We would love for you to do that. And if you're wondering, hey, how can I listen to this every week? You can subscribe on iTunes, or you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Either way is perfect. And we are looking forward to you being a part of our community. Leave comments, leave questions. Let's just have a dialogue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that we're doing video as well as audio. I'm not wasn't super jazzed about the video. Hey, yes, let me just put myself out there. But I think there's something about the eye contact and connecting and seeing. So the podcast is great if you're driving around town or in your car, but some people just want to veg on the couch, and just listening would be weird. So you get to actually see us. So that's kind of fun. But yes, please connect with us, share your stories. And we'll also have stuff throughout the week, between the podcasts, maybe Facebook Live stuff, or some questions, or hey, you share your favorite picture of the week, or just all kinds of different stuff. We're even going to be doing some giveaways. So join the group and kind of stay up to date with us. And if there's stuff you want to hear or you want us to do, share your thoughts, ideas. We're just going for it. We're trying something new, and it's going to be fun. And we're so glad you guys are along for the ride. So next week we'll be back with an all new episode, and we have a very special guest. So it will not just be the two of us. We'll actually be hearing someone else's story, and they're just a really awesome, amazing person that we know you're going to love. So tune in next Wednesday. Should we tell them why we chose Wednesdays?
Yeah, tell them.
Because it's in between the week. It's in the middle. So
yeah. Can we do that?
If we're gonna have a theme, we're gonna theme it out. We're gonna carry the theme through. So
we are for sure.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah.
It's exciting. So yay. We did it, sister.
Yay.
Yay.
We did one down. How many more to go?
I know. So we look forward to connecting with you guys on any of those platforms. And I guess we will talk to you next week.
Yay. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us for episode 1 of the In Between podcast. Don't forget to connect through our website, theinbetween.com, or find us on Facebook and Instagram, and join the movement, share your stories, and make some friends. Don't forget to tune in next week as we bring you episode 2 of the In Between podcast. Have a great week.